Ow. Dude, my butt got so tight for something. Like on Thursday, I had to miss class because I just couldn't
Oh,
walk.
what?
It was so weird. And it's still like sore because there's like a
Is it from like weightlifting?
no, it was so I don't know what it's from. Like I didn't it just like something got so tight in there and then it started like pressing on a nerve and like it's just
What?
pain all up and down. I'm like, what in the heck is
Bro,
going on?
could you walk?
I've been walking now. Like the more I walk,
Yeah.
the more it feels better. Like it'll loosen
Yeah,
up. But like if I sit down for a couple hours and I stand up, like it's just like I just got like a
that's
dead
so
leg.
weird. That's weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh wait, well, let me tweet out the link and then we
All
will
right.
be good to go.
Dude, I want the Warriors to lose this game so bad.
Uh, I saw they were down like 12 at halftime.
Yeah, I'm watching right now. They're down 9 with 10 minutes left.
Ooh. Kings are weird. They're close in every single game. They
Yeah,
could be like 6-2, but they also could be 0-8.
yeah. Play just sucks.
He's just not. I don't know what happened. Like his legs just like don't work the same.
Yeah, pretty much. He just looks like goofy now. The way he moves is just different. Like,
Yeah, he's not fluid.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like the mid-range shots, like where he comes off the screen, shoots it, it just doesn't look as smooth.
No,
Yeah. Even his form looks different.
yeah. God, the Jazz are up 18 on the Lakers.
What are they going to be? 8-3, 9-3?
I mean 9-3.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous. Okay, well LeBron isn't playing, but I mean they beat him on the road without LeBron.
Yeah,
They beat him in LA with LeBron.
yeah,
They're still bringing Russ off the bench. Dude, they're shooting 52% from three. Their entire starting lineups in double figures.
yeah.
Sexton's got 15 off the bench. This is insane. Like they're legitimately a good team. That's insane to think about. All right, well, welcome back everybody to another episode of the Sideline. My name's Rishioza,
My name's Asher Hire.
and it's been a bit.
Yeah.
It has been a bit after fall break. Everything kind of fell apart scheduling wise, but we're back. We're just gonna be talking about the Nuggets. The Broncos had their bye week. We weren't really able to talk about the Jags game. Maybe we'll talk about it later in the week,
Yeah.
going into the game against the Titans on Sunday. But we're going to talk about the Nuggets. It's been a couple weeks since we talked about them, but they just won. I don't remember the final score. One something to one something.
Yeah, like 116, 109, something like that.
115, 109.
Mhm.
Close game with the Spurs. Spurs have not been bad this season, but they blew them out on Saturday, coming in on the road. It's always tough playing in San Antonio, no matter how bad the Spurs are. So, it was a good win. They had some moments where you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, especially in the third quarter. But
Yeah.
they started to turn it on, especially defensively in the fourth, which is what I think my biggest takeaway from this game is that
Yeah.
Denver has been able to get into defensive moods when they have to, and we've seen it in a few games this season. They've had games where they haven't, like the Lakers game, they didn't do it. The Blazers game, obviously, when Anthony Simons turned into
Mhm.
like a better version of Steph Curry, it didn't happen then. But it's happened a couple of times in the past few games, 3-game winning streak now. So I think that's my biggest takeaway is that they're able to get, like, the defense has improved every single game.
Yeah. I mean, just even looking at the past, what is this? 6 games. They allowed 99 points, 101, 110, 110, 101, 109. And that's been the past 6 games. Defense is the opposing team's scoring total. So, I mean, with the average points being like 112 now around the league, maybe even higher. I don't know what it's at really. But like they've been some solid. My bad. This is why we haven't recorded. I was just got hit with like the biggest sickness since like I don't even know. I guess COVID in 2020, but yeah, huge fever. And now I'm I guess I'm still coughing when I talk. So, but anyways, the competition hasn't been great. But the defense has definitely improved. Considering that 135 we allowed to the Blazers, 122 against the Thunder, 128 against the Warriors, 123 against the Jazz to start the season. So no more of those crazy scoring totals by the opposing teams these past few weeks, which is definitely a great sign to see.
Yeah. I the defense has gotten better. The communication especially has gotten really good. And I think when you look at the lineups that they put out there to kind of get in those moods, um, Jokic is always on the court. And another thing is Jamal Murray's always been on the court for those, which is a great sign because he looks better than I anticipated him
Oh yeah.
being this far into the season. Like I expected him to look like this probably in December. And he's had four straight really solid games. He had the good game against the Lakers, which Denver lost, but he looked good in that game. He looked as fluid as he had all year. And then the Thunder game, he had a huge fourth quarter. I mean, he saved the game for the Nuggets in that game. Had a good all-around game against the Spurs in the first game. He had like 15-9, 13-9, something like that. And in this game, a great all-around game. He had 19, 5, and 6. The two-man game with him and Jokic, it doesn't look like it's missed a beat. It looks just as good as before. He had a couple of really, really good passes in the fourth, like in traffic, in the air, moving around. Like he looks really, really fluid, and that's like a phenomenal sign. This is gaining confidence and moving up and landing. There was a play, he scored a layup in the fourth quarter, and he landed kind of awkwardly, and he was like, it took him a little bit to kind of get up, and then he started running back and. Peter Malone, I was like, "Hey Jamal, you good?" And he was good. And he rubbed his knee, and he's like, "Okay, like I can." He was like, "I can take some contact now. I can land kind of awkwardly and all."
Right. Yeah, it feels like every single game there's like a play like that gets him more comfortable. That dunk he had against the Thunder, that reverse dunk, that was off the ACL leg.
Yeah.
And so it just shows the amount of confidence. It might have even gotten stronger because I don't know if we're seeing. I mean, I don't know. He was pretty athletic before the injury, but I don't know if we're seeing a reverse dunk like that. And obviously sometimes those surgeries can like literally make it stronger. So it's just phenomenal to see. Like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing to like that's scaring me about Jamal or whatever.
No.
All signs have been positive, efficient shooting the ball. I guess he misses a little bit more from the mid range than we're used to, but obviously he's coming back. But yeah, his finishing ability's been awesome. His passing is awesome. As you said, that two-man game with Jokic, just unstoppable when they go to it in the clutch. They were just spamming it in the Spurs game in the fourth quarter, and it's just you can't stop it. I wish we could see a little bit more of that inverted pick and roll with Murray being the screener, because I don't think it's actually happened once this season.
I think it happened once in this game, but no one cut to the rim. I think it was like a pick and pop type of thing. Okay. But I also want to start seeing that. They've run it with Bruce Brown a lot. When Bruce is in the game, they run that inverted pick and roll a lot. But yeah, with Jamal, I think it's just because they don't want him to take that much contact yet. Which understandable. But when it's Jokic, a traditional two-man game, it looks beautiful. I'm coming into the season, I was very prepared to give Jamal a super long runway, like honestly, like into the All-Star break for him to start to look like himself and get consistent games going. But he looks good. Like, I mean, there's still some rust that he has to knock off, especially I think in the mid range, like you mentioned. Like there's just some pull up mid ranges where he's short, or he just like the footwork isn't quite as smooth as it normally is. But when he's in the post, when he's posting up against a smaller player, he looks good. The footwork's perfect there. He's navigating around screens as the ball handler. He looks good. His finishing in the beginning of the year was really tough. Like he wasn't making any layups, which once again makes sense. But he's starting to make some stuff through contact, through traffic over the past week and a half. I've like, there has been nothing wrong about Jamal Murray's game this season that like you look at and you're like, oh man, I don't know if he's going to be able to get back to where he was. Like He's had games where he's had dunks. He's had games where he's taken contact. He's had good defensive moments. Like there's just positive notes every single game about him. So I'm really, really excited. Another positive note, Michael Porter Jr., he didn't close tonight, but I feel like people kind of forget that he's also coming back from a season-ending injury last year. Like, but he just looks just as good as he was when we last saw him healthy. Like he's pulling up from three, he's stepping back, and he's going through contact underneath when he's going for rebounds. He's playing defense at the best level he's had in his entire career. Like he looks very, very good. And I think his 3-point numbers have dipped a bit since he was shooting like 54% like a few games ago. I think they've dipped a little bit.
I think it's still above 50 though.
Is he? He was. Oh my Jesus! The man's insane. I was like, oh man, it looked like he kind of had a tough shooting night from three. He went 4 of 8. Like, he's at 50%. Like, he's insane. He went 9 of 16 overall. He had 24 and 6. It's just unreal how smooth he looks and how just comfortable he looks out there after missing a year. And you know, in the preseason, there were a couple of games where it looked like he was trying a little too hard to get his shots up. But there hasn't been a single game this season where I'm like, oh man, like he needs to, take it down a notch. Like, if anything, I'm like, dude, shoot more. Like, like he needs to get more shots up.
Yeah,
he looks super good.
Yeah, I love Porter, man. He's just so amazing. Like, it's just so fun watching him shoot. I get surprised when he misses. Like, literally, like even if it's just a crazy shot and he's on the move or something coming off his screen, it's like, oh, this is going in. And then if it doesn't go in, I'm like, man, like that was kind of shocking. And then, but I'm like confident that he'll hit the next one. And his defense has been good this year. He's staying in front of guys, even smaller and quicker guys. He's really using his length, staying in front of them. Good on the weak side or the like help as well, which is what he was good at previously in prior seasons. And as you said, crashed in the offensive glass, showing great hustle, like getting down on the ground and stuff, even with his back issues. Offensively, he's always in the right spots. Like, man, he can dribble the ball. It's shown improvement. Like, and just mentally, it's insane how, like, he's just an unconscious person, it feels like. Like, as you said, he missed a whole year. And he comes back and it's just like nothing even like happened. And he's just back and being even better than he was and better than normal. And not even that, but missing his whole rookie year and then coming in to the bubble and hitting that shot against the Clippers. It's like, geez, like this guy it doesn't matter what happens to him. He just knows how to ball and he knows how to shoot the basketball. And it doesn't matter if he takes a game off or not. It doesn't sway his confidence and it doesn't sway his consistency. And yeah, I mean, I just had a rave about Porter this year, man.
He's just so good. He's at 49% from three right now. He had a tough game against the Lakers. Tough game meaning just shooting wise. He had 17 and 9, but he went 3 of 10, and I think that from three, and that's I think that's kind of dragging it down. But he's shooting better from three than he is from the field overall. He's shooting 49% from three and 47% from the field, which is like, what? Huh? Like that doesn't make sense. And he said earlier, I think a couple days ago in a press conference, he was like, yeah, like I think I could realistically shoot 50% from three for a season. Like making 1 out of 2 shots doesn't like seem unrealistic. And I'm like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, like he's just like he is that good.
I mean, as you said, it felt like a bad shooting game this game, and he went 50% from three.
It's insane. It's ridiculous how like I truly believe he is the second best shooter in the league right now. Like it's Steph is just in a league of his own. Like no one's gonna get at that level for decades. But like in the next tier, it's Porter at the top. Like I don't know how you can't. He has an unblockable shot. He can shoot off movement. He's a good catch and shoot shooter. He shoots 50% on. Hold on, let me see the attempts that he's shooting. 50% from three on 7 attempts a game. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Like it doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't make sense. I'm the people were calling like people who were calling his contract bad, they just didn't understand how good he is, because he does everything that you need a third star to do. The only issue is that defensively he's still not like as like if your top 2 stars aren't elite defensively, you need the third star to be elite defensively. He's not that, but like I don't think Denver needs an elite defender to be in their top 3. Like I think that they're okay with that. So like he does everything you need him to do. He shoots, he rebounds, he moves, he cuts, he finishes at the rim. He's a good free throw shooter. Like I think he's an above average defender. I think you can call him that now. Like he's like, which is crazy considering where he was his rookie season. Like his rookie season, he was awful, just downright bad. But he's improved. He's put in the work. I'm just, it's ridiculous how good he is.
Yeah, and I mean he just can like, just something about his shot. He can make it in any environment, any situation. Like the crowd will be going crazy, and then he'll come off a screen and just bang a 3 in someone's face, because there's always someone right in his grill too, and it doesn't matter. And I feel like it kind of embodies like this whole team. Like Jokic, obviously we know what he can do in the clutch. He showed it again today. He did miss 2 bunnies, but then that smooth knockdown mid-range jumper to kind of seal the game against Pirtle. Jamal Murray, obviously he can take a shot in any situation. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, like I can trust him in the corner from 3 in a tough environment at Golden State or at wherever. And Bones Highland too, and like, you know, and Aaron Gordon, and if he can get in his dunker spot and all that. So I mean, just this team just has like daggers all around him. And KCP hit a huge 3 in the corner. And that was a tough one because it was a low catch. Still a good pass by Bruce Brown. But KCP had to go down, get it, and then fire it up there. Just this team is fun.
I coming into today, they were leading the NBA in 3-point percentage. They were down a little bit. They were at 33% today. But they didn't take that many. They only took 24, which is well below their season average. They were at like 42% as a team coming into today, which is, it's crazy. But you look at the guys and you're like, Bones Highland, he's been phenomenal this year. He had a tough first couple of games, but that Utah game that he had was great. Then he missed a couple, and then last game against the Spurs might have been the best game of his career. And then today he struggled a little bit to start off, but he finishes with 14 points, 3 of 5 from 3. Like he's a great shooter. You know he's a great shooter. You know what Jamal Murray is. You know what Jokic is a good shooter. KCP's been at 40% ever since he got to the Lakers. Michael Porter Jr. is at 50% this season. Like the guys who are shooting the volume amount of threes are above 40%ers. So like it's just like it makes sense that they're going to be at that level, which is crazy considering you look at last season. You're like, okay, Monte Morris below 40%, Will Barton below 40%, Austin Rivers below 40%, Aaron Gordon below 40%, Jeff Green below 40%. Like all these guys were below average shooters, and now just with 2 guys coming back from injury, retooling the roster, all these guys are so good at shooting. Like Calvin Booth has done just a phenomenal job of retooling the team around and not just being content with, okay, you know, we're going to get Jamal and MPJ back, we're going to be fine. Instead of just saying that, he's like, no, I still know that there's room for improvement.
And it's just always the perfect fit when you have Jokic as that central hub, and he's like KCP, just a perfect fit next to him, Bruce Brown. And it's like, you know, this is the main targets, the dream targets that Nuggets fans and analysts and everyone knew how good that they would fit next to each other. And it's just, awesome that he could pull that off. DeAndre Jordan has looked really good through the first 10 games. I think he's maybe only played like 8 or 9, but just rebounding the basketball, he's doing a good job. Like in Philly, kind of his like the way he played defense, you know, is kind of like a rover in the paint. Just was not good at all. He was just allowing way too many easy layups and easy jump shots like right over him as he's kind of sagging off the guy. But this year he looks more engaged and more, up aggressive up towards the ball handler. I say ball carrier last time, maybe kind of football, but even this game, like just the play ended up, I think, with a layup. But DeAndre did a nice job, first of all, like, playing the paint, and then it got kicked out to an open three, and he sprinted out of the paint to go and contest the three. I think it was missed and like offensive rebounded by the guy that DeAndre was guarding, but I think just that effort is what we were kind of scared about with DeAndre coming into the season. But he's been amazing. He's been good at offensive rebounding with tip-ins, has had some huge dunks, and then is even definitely trying to copy Jokic sometimes with some passes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was gonna mention DeAndre Jordan too. We had a lot of concerns about him coming into the season, especially considering like he was the first signing that, like, not only that the Nuggets made, but that like anyone in the NBA made. Like they tampered to get DeAndre Jordan, and we're like, what?
DeAndre Jordan.
But he, like, I will give him props. Like he has been good. He's been a positive, which is crazy to think of, considering like the last 3 years, like he was like one of the worst players in basketball over the past few seasons, and now he's been a positive with the bench unit. And he, like you said, like he's been giving more effort defensively. He's been there still are, like, he's not perfect. There's are definitely things where you look at and you're like, oh wow, that's bad. Like sometimes the effort on the boards is not there. Sometimes the effort defensively is not there. But when he does have the effort, it's great. He's a much better defensive center than DeMarcus Cousins, which is, I think, the main reason why they signed him, because they need some level of rim protection, because if you have Jokic and Cousins, like it's just going to be free. The rim is too easy to score at. So they have some sort of rim deterrent there. Even if he's not great, he is decent at it. And yeah, like he's been okay. Like he hasn't been trying to do too much. He's made a 3 this season. Like he's doing everything that you could have asked for. He's going to have his negatives. He's a vet minimum guy. He's 33, 34 years old. He's got a lot of wear on his legs, especially for a big man. So you're going to get the flaws, but the positives that have been there are more positives than I could have expected.
Yeah.
So big props to DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, for sure. It is interesting though, because the Nuggets bench, I think, is like bottom 5 in plus minus. So still trying to figure out how they kind of mesh together, and where they can kind of improve. I guess it's just interesting to like think about. Also something that was funny that I saw is like, the Nuggets lead the league in field goal percentage. They lead the league in 3-point percentage. I think they're last in free throws.
Oh my God, the free throws are so bad.
It just makes no sense. It's just like both. Man, Bones, great 3-point shooter, but then like misses these free throws, and it's like Jokic misses free throws. Jamal Murray's missing free throws. Aaron Gordon obviously misses his free throws.
Warriors right now. Okay, cool.
But it's like, man, like how can you shoot so well from 3 and shoot so well from the field and then be like the worst free throw shooting team?
It's ridiculous. Like like the one issue about Jamal that I've seen, like, free throws are the one thing that I thought would be consistent with him, and it's the one thing that hasn't been consistent with him this season. He's shooting 70% from the free throw line, which is like crazy, considering even when he wasn't shooting great from 3, he was always hovering around 90%.
Yeah,
from the line.
Yeah, dude. I mean, his early years, he was really good from the free throw line, but like the past kind of 2-ish years, I don't know. You can like notice it when he shoots it. If he goes like he has like a little. I don't know, like it's not a hitch, but it's just like a little, I don't know, like he's trying to aim it too much or something. Yeah. And his arm kind of like goes backwards, and he's kind of like, is that going in?
When he doesn't hold the follow through.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's like smooth and he holds the follow through, it seems like it's cash every time. But it's weird, but
no, it's just odd. It's really, really weird. And even like Bones Highland has been iffy from the line, and he was the Nuggets' best free throw shooter last season. Jokic has been good from the free throw line, which is good considering he was like iffy last year. This year he's at 88%, which is where he should be. Porter's at 80%. Gordon's at 55.6, which is like Mason Plumlee levels. He's tough. KCP missed a couple last game, but he's at 66, but he hasn't taken that many. Bruce Brown is at 66. Once again, he hasn't taken that many, but Jeff Green's at 74, which is like DeAndre Jordan is a big. He's never been good, but DeAndre Jordan's at 42,
and that's with him going 2 for 2 today.
Yeah. So it's weird. I do think the bench has its issues. I do think that at points Bones does get a little.
Yeah.
He tries to do a little bit too much, and it's even harder to defend now because Michael Malone has started to stagger Michael Porter with the bench, which I think is a great choice. Like I like staggering Michael Porter. I think the bench needs another offensive guy, but use him more. Like he just looks like he's out there as just like a floor spacer instead of the best offensive guy in the lineup.
Yeah.
But I do like that fit. I just think at points Bones can get a little bit too much. When he's on like he was in the first game, like it's just like, oh my God, what's he gonna do next? But then sometimes like there were points in this game where it's like, okay, just calm down, let it go through the progressions. Yeah. Christian Braun's an interesting thing to me because I look at him and I'm like he's good, like he can play right now, and he probably should play right now, but it's like you can't justify going small and taking out DeAndre Jordan because he has legitimately played well this season. You're not going to take out Jeff Green. There's no point in going in a 5-man bench and taking out Michael Porter. You're not taking out Bruce Brown. You're not taking out Bones. Like, where does he fit in? And you kind of see him as like, you're trying to steal minutes of MPJ rest in the first half where they'll kind of put Christian Braun in to space out the bench. But I don't know. It's weird. He's an interesting guy because he was playing early when the minutes restrictions were still happening. And he played well. It's not his fault he's not playing anymore. Just odd. It's odd how they're going to handle his minutes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't know what to say because you're definitely right. I guess what else should we talk about? Maybe I guess it is maybe the elephant in the room, just Jokic's he did score 26. Yeah, his aggressiveness. Yeah. 36th right now in the NBA in points per game. Just reminds me of him kind of like a couple years ago. I feel like there were 2 or 3 straight years where he started off a little slowly. Especially that year after the Olympics or FIBA or something.
I think he tried playing Eurobasket and he came back just like super fat.
Yeah. Right. And then this season he played in the FIBA thing, obviously. And his scoring is down and his aggressiveness is down. I don't mind it right now. Like I know he can turn it on when he wants to, and he's just getting the team involved, and it's been, lowly competition. But I don't know. What do you think about his
I think this is how he wants to play. Because the last 2 seasons he has just, with all the injuries he's been forced to be the best scorer on the team, and he doesn't whenever someone has asked him about like when he scores a triple double, like he'll have a 50-point triple double and they'll ask him about it. He never mentions the 50. He never mentions how many points. He's always like, my teammates got open, I was able to find. Like he always is going to think about. He's always going to think about the passing. Sorry. Oh my God. He's always going to think about the passing first. So I think that he said in press conferences, like his main goal right now in the early season is to get Michael Porter Jr. back involved, get Jamal Murray back involved, get the new guys, KCP and Bruce Brown, start getting them integrated more. But I do legitimately think that even after I think those guys are pretty, like they know how to play with everybody now. Like I think he just wants to pass first. but he's turned the ball over a lot over the past few games. And my issue with that is that some of those turnovers should be shot attempts. Like he still has to learn a little bit about when, like picking his spots on when to be passive and when to be the facilitator and when to just take over and score. And like he picked his spots well, I thought, in the Thunder game. Like he knew when to do it then. He picked it well in the first Spurs game. And in this one, I have a feeling that in that timeout, when right before he made the mid-range shot, like they drew up the play for him to score. And he was like, okay, fine, like I'll do it.
Yeah.
But if they didn't draw that up, like I don't think he would have tried to score. And like he missed a bunch of bunnies, but it was because he, wasn't trying to score and he didn't get into a rhythm. Like he hadn't been taking those shots and knowing how to take them. So like I understand what he's doing, but I legitimately think that he doesn't want to score. He's very, very much content with being a 20, 22 point per game guy, but averaging 9-10 assists. Because I just think he enjoys playing that style more.
Yeah. And I'm not concerned about it at all. I don't think, because
me neither.
I mean that the field goal percentage is insane too. Like
Yeah.
when he does shoot, he usually will make it.
Yeah.
And that's even with him, as you said, missing a few bunnies this game and missing a few bunnies just overall in the season that he usually makes. But like I think it is good though that he is involving Murray and Porter, and I think that hopefully that will pay off sooner with how Murray is looking, with how Porter is looking. And then he's obviously getting KCP involved too. But I think he is unconfident in his shooting game, especially his 3-point shooting game. Just has a lot of open looks that he just immediately either passes out of or pump fakes and drives to the rim. He had that crazy pass to Porter in the OKC game where he flung it by everyone. But he was wide open for 3 then. So I mean, I don't know. I trust him now in year 7, to do what he thinks is best for the team, and what if he's not feeling his 3-point shot, because it's been down past couple of years and it's down this year. If he's just not feeling it, whatever. He usually ends up in a bucket anyways if he does that pump fake and layup. So
no, I'm not worried about it. And like it's crazy that we're like complaining about it, because like he's averaging 20, 11, and 9 right now. Like he's gonna average a triple double. Like I'm calling it now. This is my predict. He's averaging a triple double this season because he's had double digit assists in 3 straight games. He had 14 against OKC. He had 10 against San Antonio first game. He had 10 in this game. Just looking at his game log, like he's just passing more and more and more. He had 13 assists against OKC in the first game. He had 10 assists against Golden State in that first game. Like he's gonna average a triple double. Like he just likes passing more than scoring. Like we always knew that he was a pass first guy. So I'm not worried about it. It's just annoying because we, like the last 2 seasons, we have seen how ridiculously dominant and efficient he can be when he's like, okay, fine, I'll score. Like, God, geez, I'll just score. Like, fine if I must. And like, he's just so good at it. Like we have his 27 on 57% shooting last season. He's one of the most efficient players in the history of the game. But I think we just got to learn to trust him and be like, okay, he'll figure it out. Like he knows what he's doing at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it would be awesome to see like a 63% 20-point game, triple double season. With the assists just being jacked up, and I love that he's got shooters around him now, man, because like he can genuinely average a triple double with the amount of shooting on this team. The amount of shooting that he plays with, like now it's like KCP in the corner instead of like Austin Rivers or Campazzo. Like, man, yes, KCP, he's gonna make it, and Porter's out there. He can definitely average a triple double. Let's hope, because that would be crazy out of a center. he's already missed a couple triple doubles. He was 2 rebounds away this game, and then I think he had one where he was like 1 assist away or 1 rebound away earlier in the season. It's like, damn, close to more
Yeah,
triple doubles, but he's the
yeah,
king of the almost triple double.
yeah. I mean, he's leading the league in triple doubles this season in the early going. But he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be just fine. And I do think that he's purposefully taking it slow now because he had such a tough season on his body last season. He missed games with injury for the first time in a couple seasons. He obviously played in Eurobasket. He played in FIBA qualifiers. Like he had a lot of basketball prior to the actual season.
Mhm.
So I like if he does take it slow, like he's only at like 32 minutes a game right now through 10 games, that's perfect. Like if you like that's the low end of where his minutes could have been. Which is that's encouraging. So he's taking it low in the low minutes that he has already. So yeah, as long as he's fresh and he knows that he has to be the top scorer come playoff time, then we'll be fine. And I think we'll get a better sense of what this team looks like closer to the All-Star break when
Yeah.
you're going to get a full rotation. You're going to get Jamal Murray fully back, like feeling 100%. You're going to start to see what the team actually looks like. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to see for sure.
Yeah. I can't believe it. The Warriors won. They came back.
Steph with 47 on 17 of 24. Man. 47,
That
8,
was
and 8.
wild.
The Warriors are just like bad. Like they're just not good right now. And it's because
Yeah.
their bench is bad. Like
And James Wiseman is horrible.
James Wiseman's been awful. They haven't been playing Jonathan Kuminga a lot, which is odd because I feel like he played well last year. Anthony Lamb played 16 minutes today
Yeah.
off the bench, and
Yeah.
James Wiseman did not play.
I mean,
Like
they just desperately need like another backup like front court guy. And even like a backcourt defender too, because
yeah,
who's defending in the backcourt and who's even playing the backup, big. I mean, there's just no one. And that's two of the guys that they lost this season with GP2 and Otto Porter. And it's just immediately showing up as a big red spot on their team. But I'm not necessarily worried that the Curry, Draymond, Wiggins, Clay lineup is still a positive.
their starting lineup has been like
Yeah.
very good. They have like a 25 net rating,
Mhm.
which is that 5-man lineup of Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney. It's been very good. Their bench has just been god awful.
Yeah.
And even in this one, like you look at their starting lineup, Steph with 47, obviously, but then Andrew Wiggins had an efficient 25 and 10. Draymond Green gives you 11, 6, and 8. Klay Thompson, even though he shot poorly, he still had 16. Kevon Looney had 13 rebounds. And as a starting unit, every single one of those starters was a double-digit plus. Steph was a plus 20, Clay's a plus 10, Draymond's plus 19, Wiggins plus 16. Looney's plus 8, but he only played 21 minutes because I'm assuming they closed with Jordan Poole. But the entire bench was a minus. They didn't have a single positive.
Yeah.
Moses Moody was a -1 in 9 minutes. And then Kuminga was a -17 in 9 minutes. Like Ty Jerome -22, Jordan Poole -11. Like their bench has just been so bad. And I think it's because they don't have a defender out there. They don't have anybody who you can rely on to stop the bleeding at all.
I mean, just look at it. Like if Poole's not scoring, who's scoring? And yeah, there's nobody defending. So I mean, I can't like start off with anything. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, and JaMychal Green looked like he's played his way out of the rotation. So yeah, Anthony Lamb, Ty Jerome. I don't know if you want them playing on your bench, but yeah.
And I think they do have a couple of injuries. Like DiVincenzo should probably be there, and I know he's a good defender, but he's not that great offensively either. So that's still it causes one issue, but it solves one issue, but it's also another issue is still pretty glaring.
Yeah.
The Kings side, De'Aaron Fox looks phenomenal to start the season. I will say that he looks great. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I think Phoenix lose today.
Yeah.
Phoenix did lose. That means the Utah Jazz are the number 1 seed 10 games in at 9-3.
The Nuggets are tied for 2.
It's just ridiculous. Like the Jazz are legitimately like I do think that they are a good. I think they're gonna have a very tough decision to make in like a week because if they keep winning, they're gonna take themselves out of tanking
Yeah.
situation because like I think at 9-3 they already might be a little too far.
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. No, I think they are already.
Like if you want to tank, you gotta tank. And they can't wait until the trade deadline because the way that they're playing right now, they're going to be too good at the trade deadline to tank.
Mhm.
So like you really have to make Danny Ainge and the front office is really going to have to make a decision on whether or not they want to tank or not.
Yeah.
Because I think in a normal year they wouldn't have a decision because they could just go and play normally and like not really have an issue and be content with the situation. But you have 2 incredible prospects in the top 2 this season in the draft. And if you do want to kickstart your franchise after trading away your 2 franchise icons, one of those guys is going to do it. So like they're going to have some tough choices to make.
Yeah.
They're going to have some really tough choices.
Yeah, because I don't think you can tank, man. There's no way you out tank the Rockets or the Magic or the Pistons or the Hornets or even the Lakers. I don't think they're better than the Lakers. So I don't know. Do you buy at the deadline with this team? I don't know. Like, I don't think that there's any playoff. Like, I don't think anyone's scared of the of Lauri Markkanen and Mike Conley come playoff time. But I don't know, man. Lauri Markkanen could play himself into an all-star reserve spot.
Man, he looked, and especially because it's in Salt Lake City. Like he's gonna get a hometown boost in terms of votes from coaches too. Like he had 23 today. He's averaging 22 and 9. Like that. Like that's all-star on pretty good efficiency too. Like he's playing really, really well. That's the thing. Like they traded away their 2 big guys, but they didn't get any like cornerstone young pieces. They just got back a bunch of like playoff tested veterans and like here, like what these guys aren't gonna lose. Like so like it's so crazy. It's so crazy how like how they actually are good. So they're gonna have some tough choices to make.
And so those 3 losses for the Nuggets don't look too bad because the Jazz look good and it's always hard to win in Utah anyways. The Blazers game, what can you even do? Because as you said, Simons turned into a better version of Steph Curry that game.
Plus Portland's 7-3 right now anyway. Like they're also off to a good start.
And then the Lakers, like that was just stupid. That was just the best shooting game that they'll have this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the 3 losses. And then the wins have been pretty dominant too. Most of them really. I think
the thing with it is like if you're able, like good teams beat bad teams. Denver was in dogfights with every single bad team last season. Like every single bad team, you're like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, just win the game, please. Like stop doing this, stop doing like they were in dogfights with the Spurs, they were in dogfights with the Rockets to start the season. Like they just did not play well like against bad teams. And this season, they've won against bad teams. They've won against the Thunder twice. You beat the Spurs twice. Already off to a good start. You beat the Warriors on the road, which is normally never happens.
Yeah.
Like I think this is they're gonna be good. They're gonna be all right.
And it's fun with them at home too. Like finally, I think they're good at home and they're using the altitude to their advantage.
They've
running.
Yeah, exactly. They've played in transition way more this season than they have before. I saw a stat. It was like they're averaging like 12 fast break points a game this season, or 12 transition points a game, which is their highest since 2012, 2013, when they led the league in fast break points. I'm like, that's how you should play. Like this team has players who are great in transition.
Yeah.
Bones is great in transition. Jokic is great in transition. MPJ is great in transition. You have guys who want to run and get out get easy buckets. So I like it. I think that they're starting to find more of an identity, because the last 2 years have just been like, all right, season's washed. Like, it's just like chalk it up. Let's just get Jokic an MVP and get out of
Right.
here. Like, so I think they're finding an identity. They're finding a rhythm, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this season to see how it ends up.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think that might be it.
yeah. Just looking through the standings right now, and the Bucks are crazy. I didn't realize though that they've had 7 home games already, only 3 away games.
Who
7
have
and
the
0 at
Jazz?
home. What?
The Jazz?
The Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh, they lost.
yeah,
Oh, they lost
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Well, it was gonna come at some point.
Cavs look good.
Cavs look really good. That Cavs look. Oh my God, it's a 4-point game.
Yeah, Cavs Clippers.
Cavs Clippers. They were up like 14. Like
I
10
know.
minutes ago. Clippers look tough. I'm worried about Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. Where is he?
Like, I'm legitimately worried about. Like, they were bringing him off the bench to kind of ease his way, and he looked good. Like, he looked fine. It didn't look like he was playing with any injuries. You know, maybe they're just making it up, and they're just like, shh, everyone keep it on the low.
maybe.
Oh no, he's hurt, and then they'll bring him back in March with like 20
right.
minutes of wear on him the whole season. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, man, like he's missed so many games in his career. You know, yeah, especially over the past like 3-4 years.
Yeah. It's like we think of him as his all-time great, because at his peak when he's playing, he's phenomenal, but he has less like career totals than Tobias Harris, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's like, Andrew Wiggins has more career points than Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi Leonard's been in the league like 4 years long. You're like, what? How? Like, how did this happen? Like, he just, when he plays, he's so good, but he's just, his knees are insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, because I mean, he's such a built guy, and like it's the whole robot kind of feel around him, and it's like, man, how is he? He's just feels like he should be indestructible, but he plays a back to back, and he's out like back to back months after that.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's wild. Maybe the most injured superstar like ever.
Yeah.
In
I mean, like, everyone's calling, Anthony Davis for that. Kawhi definitely deserves. Like, I don't think it's I don't ever want to like clown people for getting injured, because they can't control that. But like, he definitely deserves to be talked about in the same sense as Anthony Davis when you're talking about stars who are injured. Like, Kawhi seems to get a free pass about it. And I think it's just because of his reputation. Like, he has the 2 finals MVPs. Like, you know what he is. Like, people are like, okay, he deserves to have some leeway with it. But like, he's been hurt like a lot. He's missed more games than Anthony Davis has in the last 2 years. Like, so we'll see. We'll see how the Clippers. I still am confident in the Clippers. I still do think that they're like one of the better teams in the league. I think that they're still they're still my favorite to win. It is only 10 games in, but we'll see. Because their depth hasn't looked good either. That's the other concerning part. Like, Norman Powell hasn't looked that good. Marcus Morris hasn't looked that good. Paul George has struggled in a few games this season. Zubac has looked really good, but like outside of that, like they look very, very, very shaky.
Well,
yeah.
I'll watch the rest of this. I guess it's mad right now. I think it's tied up, right?
It is tied up. 112-112. I will also watch that end of that. I think we're done with this so far. Nuggets off to a great start in the season. Hopefully they can keep it going. Hopefully they can stay healthy. Keep talking about them as it goes on. We'll probably talk about the Broncos and their upcoming game, talk about how they look, what they still need to improve on, talk about the trade deadline, what moves they made, and we'll go from there. But for now,